Hello. Okay, so I just wanted to make hopefully a pretty quick video about E-Day and how that went. So I don't know, probably like October maybe of last year, I joined a couple of Facebook pages about dentures, getting dentures specifically at a young age, and started really doing my research. I had actually been trying to get dentures for quite some time. I'll talk more about that in the video that I eventually make about why I got dentures. But I really wanted to start doing some research because I was having a hard time finding a dentist that would go ahead and do an upper denture. Now, recently, I've gotten in the position where I needed at least a partial, so that's really why I started doing research. So anyways, I joined the Facebook group. So with that, I'd seen so many success stories, horror stories, possibilities, I mean, you name it, and I've probably heard about it, not been through it myself, but seen somebody else talking about their experience with all of it. So probably like everyone else who is going through this, one of my biggest fears was having to be awake when they pull my teeth. Everything about it just freaks me out. And like most people who end up needing dentures, maybe even people in general, I don't know. I know my husband doesn't need dentures. He doesn't have the best teeth, but doesn't need dentures, and he hates the dentist. Now, I wouldn't call it a phobia. Like I was going to say, most people who end up needing dentures seem to have like this phobia of dentists and going to the dentist. And hold on, my 2-year-old's looking for me. What, baby?
Mommy,
What?
I put it on.
Open the door. What?
I put it on.
What is it? Okay, let me see.
It's a doll. I
Watch
like
out.
it.
Watch out for my coffee.
Oh, okay. What's that? What's
Does
that?
this fit on here? There you go. Watch out for my coffee, babe. Okay. Okay, you guys go play. Will you shut that? You don't have to shut it all the way, but crack it. That way Catahoula doesn't get in here because she likes to drink my coffee. Anyways, my husband doesn't have the best teeth, but they're not that bad. He doesn't, he needs probably some fillings, but nothing severe or anything. So, we're already terrified basically just to go to the dentist, and it's usually either bad dental experiences or just kind of that shame and embarrassment of having really, really bad teeth and having someone with perfect teeth looking at your mouth and telling you all of the things that are wrong with your teeth, all the things that you've done wrong in your life that didn't help, take care of them, and how much money it's going to cost to fix them, and all of this stuff. So, it's already hard enough to go to the dentist, period. And then to think about going to the dentist when you're already terrified of the dentist and having for a lot of people, all of your teeth taken out, or, half of them if you're just doing top or just doing bottom or whatever. It is so, you become so consumed with all of the what ifs, all of the anxiety, like the just absolute like fear and terror of the whole idea of it. So I did not want to be awake, obviously. I didn't even want to be there. I definitely didn't want to be awake while they take all of my teeth out. I've heard so many people who were awake say that, they heard all of the teeth being pulled out. They were supposed to be asleep, but they weren't asleep. And, they felt all of it. And it was traumatic and they have PTSD. And some people were like, oh, it wasn't that bad, you know. It was like pressure, but I took some headphones and it was fine. No big deal. I did not want to be awake. Yes.
I have my sunglasses on.
Okay. Watch my coffee.
Okay.
Thank you.
Mine is more like a phone.
Well, not right now because I'm making this video.
Well, I like it.
Well, thank you. You can play with it whenever I'm done, okay?
Mine is
You guys
cheese.
are going to have to let me make my video.
Okay. I don't want her to go with that because I don't want her to break it.
This?
No, that.
Okay. We'll talk about it later. Okay.
There.
You guys go play. Shut my door again. Thank you.
Hey, come here.
And don't shut her in here. Forgot what I was talking about. Sorry, mom life. Yeah, didn't want to be awake. So, when I first started looking for a dentist to do my extractions, like I said, I already knew 100% I needed a partial. There was no question. There was no way around it. And again, I'll talk about more of that later, but at that point I decided I was not going to settle for just a partial. Many reasons, lots of research, personal preference to just do it all now instead of having to convert a partial to an entire, full upper denture later, because it was inevitable. So when I started looking for a dentist, I went to Aspen first because I was like, I know that these regular dentists over the last 4 or 5 years that I've been going to are the ones that are like, we're not going to do it. You're too young. You'll have too much bone loss. You'll regret it. Blah, blah, blah. So I was like, I need to go to someone that specializes in just dentures and implants. So I went to Aspen, no questions. They were like, you want a full upper? Like, cool, we'll do it. They will do IV sedation through an oral surgeon. Obviously, you have to pay for it. And I think when everything was said and done with my insurance, they had quoted me for like the second to the highest denture package, I don't know the names of them, but not the very, very top tier one, but the next one down, and 13 or 14 extractions, 13 extractions up top, I think. And then the IV sedation with my insurance, and also gum disease treatment, I guess, for the bottom, $2,400, I think, which we were going to pay. But we were using our FSA card, and you could only load $2,700 on it per fiscal year. So I didn't want to have to spend that much if I didn't have to, because if for some reason my husband lost his glasses, like he has a CDL, he works outside, he works for the city where we live, so he has transition prescription glasses. They're on his driver's license. He has to have glasses, period. But if he were to lose or break his glasses, to get new ones, before that year is up or whatever, because you can only get them every year. I don't even know how much it would cost, because I know like when you have that yearly exam and like your yearly allotment or whatever, we still end up paying like $200 out of pocket after everything that insurance covered, because he got the transition lenses and the anti-scratch and all of that, the anti-glare. So like I didn't want to have to use every last drop of our FSA account. I'm a stay-at-home mom, so 1 income family, 2 kids. So anyways, I started shopping around. Eventually I ended up at DDS, and they quoted me much, much cheaper, about half. Well, not quite half. It was like $1,600, I think. And that also included 2 extractions on the bottom, which I decided to only go with 1. However, at DDS, they don't do IV sedation. Now, they will give you a couple of little pills, like an oral twilight sedation. It's called like Halocin or Halocin or something like that. I would have to find I don't even have the prescription bottle anymore. But the prescription name starts with a tree. Starts with a T, like something weird. So anyways, then they told me, when they told me this, that it usually puts most people to sleep, like you're gonna take a nap. So I was like, okay, and they were like, and you're pretty small, so it's probably gonna knock you out. And I'm like, cool, I don't care then, it'll be fine. So I picked that up. I went in at 8 a.m., did my impressions, which I was also scared about because everyone said the taste is really bad. It was not as bad as it could be, so it was fine. Left, went and ate at Waffle House with my husband. Went to the eye doctor because he broke his glasses, and we had to see if they could fix them, which thankfully they could, so we didn't have to buy new ones, so that was great. We're just gonna have to wait, so it'll be fine. Hang on. This is impossible with children. I don't know how people do this. Anyways, went and did my impressions, ate, went to the eye doctor, went and got the prescriptions, get back to the dentist's office at 1, check in. I was supposed to be there for at 1:30 for my extractions. At about 1:30, they had me take 2 of these little teeny tiny pills, and within 30 minutes, I was already back in the chair and was kind of just waiting for it to kick in. And then the next thing I know, it's sometime later, and I remember the dental assistants or whatever waking me up, telling me like to make sure I'm taking deep breaths. And so I don't know if I was like not breathing well or what, but I remember several times they woke me up and told me that. And then like maybe the third time they woke me up telling me to take deep breaths and to keep taking deep breaths, I looked at my phone and I had realized, okay, now mind you, at this point, they had not started working on my mouth. I had been given no numbing shots, haven't seen the dentist, still just sitting in this chair. It was 2 hours later. 2. So, then once I like kind of woke up, obviously the twilight sedation started wearing off. So I was awake. So then they come in and they're like, we're going to give you numbing shots and we're going to go ahead and get started. This was about, let me think. That was at 1:30, 2:30, 3:30 when I started like kind of coming out of it. And I think it was at about 3:30 or 4:30, whenever they told me they were going to do the numbing shots. I'm doing this video. Brooklyn, I gave you apple juice. Go ask Sissy to help you find your cup. I'm never going to be able to finish this. So, anyways, they gave me numbing shots. I'm so sorry for the kids in the background. They gave me numbing shots, and I was like, you're going to have to give me something, because, like, I'm not going to be awake for this. And they're like, well, obviously, we don't have any more Halocin or whatever it's called, because, like, it's a prescription, and, like, you can't leave at this point and go pick it up again, So they gave me laughing gas, and they ended up waited another hour. Okay, at this point, when they actually start working on my mouth, the dentist office had been closed for 30 minutes. I mean, I was not the only person still there. But they had to give me a second round of numbing shots because they'd waited so long that they started wearing off. They were not that strong. I had headphones in. Okay, my phone was dying, so I was all kinds of pissed off. I made them go find me a charger, and I made sure that they didn't try to charge me for the laughing gas because they had waited until like, if you would have just not had me take these pills until you were actually fucking ready to start, pardon my French, but like, we wouldn't have this problem. You know what I mean? Like, insane. It made me so mad. I did not want to be awake, period. I don't give a shit. Like, to me, this is unacceptable. So anyways, you know, they gave me the second round of numbing shots or whatever. At this point, it's 5:30 when he starts pulling my teeth. And he's like going back and forth between my chair and someone else's chair, doing the same damn thing over there, basically. And I felt everything. I had headphones in. I could still hear it. Dude was not gentle at all. I'm guessing he was in a hurry because he wanted to go home, but like, that's not my problem. The person that was next to me, you know, in the next little room thing over, got done before I did. But like, once he got all of my teeth pulled, he'd gone to the next chair and, I don't know, stitched that guy up. I'm really not sure, but I was sitting there for like 5 minutes or whatever, like, just with my mouth open. No one told me they were leaving. Like, all of a sudden they were just gone. And like, I had laughing gas, but I was coherent, you know what I mean? Like, I was just traumatized and like ready to be done with this. So I'm like, what the hell is going on? He finally comes back and throws a few stitches in and puts my teeth in and sends me on my way. But it was not cool. And what was really shitty, I think, besides the fact that everything I wanted the extractions not to be was that whenever, like, when we got done with the impressions and me and my husband went to eat at Waffle House, I got a notification on my phone from Facebook that somebody had commented on the initial review from my consultation that I left on DDS's Facebook page. A good review. And that person had just commented on eDay. Okay, so this was like months later, and like 2 months later, and was saying, like, giving me all of these case numbers and shit, and was saying that the dentist that was going to be pulling my teeth, which I did not specify, there's 2 dentists in this office, but that this specific dentist had like a history of abusing drugs, basically prescription drugs, and had been barred from prescribing them and shit like that for like 4 years. Now this was back in like late 90s, early 2000s, but I was like, oh my god. Like, and then the guy who had made this comment said that basically this dentist is high on pills and working on people's mouth, and like had previously put in someone's implant post crooked and all kinds of shit. And I told my husband, I read it to him, and I was like, oh my god, like, in just a few hours this dude is gonna be pulling my teeth, you know, and like, I'm freaking out. And he was like, oh, you know, that was a long time ago, and like, we know people change, so like, we're trying not to judge or whatever. But I'm like, this dude's pulling my teeth, and like, if I'm asleep, I don't know what the is going on, you know what I mean? But I was awake, and he had like 4 or 5 different people scheduled for extractions all at 1:30 p.m., which is how he ended up so far behind and did not start on my teeth until 5:30. He had let my sedation wear off, had to give me 2 separate rounds of numbing shots, and then still was running from chair to chair in the middle of my procedure. I mean, it was an absolute shit show, to the point where when I had to go to my post-op appointment the next day, I called that next morning and was like, if I have to see the dentist, I don't want to see him. Like, I absolutely will not work with him. If it's, you know, a dental assistant, hygienist, or the other dentist, that's cool. Which, by the way, in the middle of my waiting game on E-Day, the other dentist at that office had come into my room. He's actually the person that gave me the first round of numbing shots. And he said, I'm going to give you these numbing shots, and I'm going to go check. And if Dr. Sims, that's his name, is not ready to go ahead and start with you, that's the guy that gave me the laughing gas and everything. He was like, then I'll just go ahead and do it myself if you're okay with that. And at this point I was like, please, you know, like, yes, that's fine. But he gave me my shots, and then he left, and he came back, and he's like, okay, he'll be in here in just a minute. So that dude left, and it still was like 30 minutes later or an hour later, whatever the hell it was, and the other guy was still not in there working on my shit. So it was just terrible. But luckily I didn't have to deal with the dentist the next day, and I hope to God that I don't ever. I'm glad it's just like the assistants and like the lab now, if anything is wrong with my teeth, because it was terrible. And like, you know, at one point I really felt like he was gonna like put his hand on my face to like pull a tooth out, because he was rough, and I had my headphones all the way up and I could hear it all, and I was like, I literally had to turn on worship music, because I seriously was like, I am gonna fucking lose it. I'm gonna lose it on this dude here in a second while he's ripping out my teeth. So yeah, that was my E-Day experience, and it sucked, but thankfully my healing so far, knock on wood, has not been too bad. So I'm super, super thankful for that. But I thought I would just share this while I had a second. Sorry again for the interruptions, but hope you guys have a good day, and I will try to get on soon and talk about reasoning behind why I lost my teeth and all of that. So see you guys later.